New York is often known as a loud, fast-paced state, from the lights of Times Square to the skyscrapers of Manhattan. But far from the big city rush, there are dozens of small towns living life on their own terms, some struggling just to survive, while others quietly thrive and attract newcomers. In this list, we'll explore 10 of the worst and best small towns in New York, uncovering the stories behind the statistics, job opportunities, crime levels, and the real quality of life in these smaller communities. First on the list is Westfield, a small town sitting along the shores of Lake Erie. On the surface, it feels welcoming, with local shops, cafes, and restaurants that still see steady foot traffic. But beneath that charm are real challenges. Westfield often appears on lists of the worst small towns in New York due to its stagnant economy. The median household income is only around $50,000, lower than the state average, and unemployment runs slightly higher than nearby counties. In terms of crime, Westfield is relatively safe, but property crime, such as theft and vandalism, is reported more often than violent crime, creating ongoing concerns for homeowners and small businesses. These factors make it hard for Westfield to compete with more prosperous small towns. Still, the town has its appeal. Located along the Chautauqua Wine Trail, Westfield's annual Grape and Wine Festival continues to draw visitors and keep its tourism spirit alive. In the valley of Steuben County, Addison looks like a peaceful small town at first glance. Local shops line the streets, and the Canisteo River flows calmly along its edge. But behind the quiet charm, Addison faces serious economic pressure. The median household income is only about $40,000, well below the state average, and job opportunities are limited. As a result, many younger residents leave in search of better prospects elsewhere. Unemployment remains high, and many local businesses struggle to stay open, creating financial stress across the community. When it comes to crime, Addison sees relatively little violent activity, but home and vehicle theft are more common, adding another layer of concern for residents. The town does have its bright side. The surrounding nature offers hiking, fishing, and peaceful river views. Unfortunately, that natural beauty is not enough to offset the economic hardship and lack of employment opportunities that define daily life for many people in Addison. Gouverneur has the classic charm of a small upstate New York town. Gravel roads, family-run cafes, and a close-knit community where people know one another. But behind that friendly atmosphere lie economic and social challenges that place it on the list of the worst small towns in New York. The town's median household income is around $31,019, less than half the state average and well below the national standard. The unemployment rate sits at about 5%, slightly above average, and the poverty rate exceeds 23%, far higher than the state norm. In terms of crime, while violent crime is not extreme, property crime, such as theft and burglary, is high, with more than 210 incidents in 2024 and a property crime rate above 5,800 per 100,000 residents, higher than many other towns in New York. Stagnant economic conditions and relatively high crime make it difficult for Gouverneur to attract new investment and job opportunities. Next is Clyde, located in Wayne County. Clyde faces real challenges that earn it a spot among the worst small towns in New York. The median household income is around $60,543, while more than 21% of residents live below the poverty line, signaling significant financial pressure on local families. Limited job opportunities and unemployment higher than average make it hard for many residents to secure stable income. Although the total number of crimes is small in absolute terms, the town still records property crimes such as theft and some minor violent offenses, enough to create tension in a small community. Declining home values and a slightly shrinking population make Clyde appear to be struggling to maintain everyday life. Although Montour Falls is relatively safe compared to many other areas with a violent crime grade of B, its low cost of living and natural scenery are not enough to lift the local economy. Residents continue to struggle with low wages, limited job opportunities, and a high poverty rate, making Montour Falls a clear example of the challenges small towns face in trying to grow in New York. The median household income is about $43,083, well below state and national averages, while roughly 23% of residents live below the poverty line, reflecting real financial strain for many families. While one source shows a relatively low unemployment rate, it is measured differently and still points to serious challenges in employment and income compared to other New York towns. Crime statistics also show ongoing property crime, such as theft and burglary, with only a C grade for property crime. Wolcott may look like a quiet small town in Wayne County, but the numbers behind it tell a different story. The median household income is around $43,661, a sharp drop from previous years and well below the New York State average, while about 19% of residents live below the poverty line. The job market also feels tight. Although the unemployment rate is roughly 6.8%, it shows many residents are still searching for stable work, with very few new job opportunities emerging in recent years. Wolcott is relatively safe from serious violence, with very low or even zero violent crime. However, overall crime levels still include theft and other costs of crime, which, when measured per household, can amount to hundreds of dollars per year. Home values are also low, with a median around $85,300, reflecting a sluggish local economy and weak market demand. Moving on to Whitehall, we enter a small town on the edge of Lake Champlain with a long history, known as the birthplace of the U.S. Navy. But its charm can be misleading. The local economy faces real challenges. Median household income is only about $36,000, while roughly 30% of residents live below the poverty line, making it difficult for many families to cover daily needs. Limited job opportunities and unemployment rates higher than the state average put additional pressure on local life. Whitehall continues to deal with property crime, including theft and home break-ins, adding another layer of concern for a community already under economic strain. Even so, the town remains alive through historical tourism and a close-knit local community. In Yorkshire, daily life appears calm. Neat small roads, modest homes, and a community where people know one another. But beneath that calm lies heavy economic pressure. Yorkshire is considered one of the worst small towns in New York because the median household income is only about $25,370, far below the state average, while more than 42% of residents live below the poverty line. Many families struggle just to meet basic needs. Job opportunities in Yorkshire are extremely limited, and even though many residents are employed, wages are usually low, reinforcing financial stress in this small community. In terms of crime, overall levels are relatively low compared to larger cities, but property crime still exists, reflecting the economic instability that affects residents' ability to protect their belongings. Notably, Yorkshire has a very small population and a high median age, showing an aging community that struggles to attract younger generations. Whitney Point is known as a gateway to the Finger Lakes, close to rivers and scenic natural areas that attract hikers and fishing enthusiasts. But behind that natural charm, the village faces real challenges that place it among the worst small towns in New York. The median household income is around $44,500, well below the state average, while about 29% of residents live below the poverty line. Clear signs of financial strain for many families. Limited job opportunities and a relatively high unemployment rate make it difficult for residents to find stable or well-paying work, reinforcing economic uncertainty. Whitney Point remains active with its schools, local businesses, and community life, but the combination of low income, scarce jobs, and high poverty means the village continues to struggle, reflecting the real challenges faced by many small towns across New York. Riverside has a unique kind of potential as one of the more affordable small villages to live in. Its cost of living is lower than in many other parts of New York, and some local market studies even see promise in its retail prospects. But beneath that surface, economic reality places Riverside on the list of the worst small towns in the state. The village's median household income is about $36,700, far below the state average, while unemployment is estimated to be high, even reaching double digits in some local reports. Estimated data suggests that overall crime in Riverside, especially property crime, is higher than the national average per 100,000 residents, making the risk of becoming a crime victim relatively significant for a small community. While the town remains close-knit and many residents have lived there for years, the combination of low income, limited job opportunities, and ongoing criminal activity creates serious socioeconomic challenges, placing Riverside among New York's least favorable small towns to live in. Life in these towns is tough. Opportunities are scarce, and each day can feel like a constant struggle just to get by. Imagining life there, it can be hard to believe that there are places in New York that feel completely different. But here's the surprising part. Beyond the haze of economic hardship and crime statistics, there are small towns that are thriving, places that are stable, prosperous, and genuinely appealing. From here, we move into the list of the best small towns in New York, communities that don't just survive, but truly offer an ideal small town life. Some of them even feel like hidden paradises. Burdett sits on the shores of Keuka Lake and is a perfect example of a small town that offers peace, safety, and a high quality of life. The town has a median household income of around $65,000, near zero crime, and a warm, close-knit community, factors that make it one of the best small towns in New York. Notably, Burdett is home to La Bourgade, a small area that charms visitors with its rustic architecture, stone-lined streets, and local restaurants serving Finger Lakes cuisine. La Bourgade attracts people looking to experience a European-style small town without leaving the United States. Its presence adds color, activity, and economic appeal to Burdett, making the town not only a comfortable place to live, but also a charming micro-destination, proof that nature, safety, and community can be the perfect formula for a top small town. Imagine a small town on Long Island that is safe, prosperous, and full of character. That's Roslyn. This village isn't just beautiful, it's one of the best small towns in New York, thanks to its balance of high income, exceptional safety, and excellent quality of life. In Roslyn, the median household income reaches about $123,700, far above the state average, while unemployment is very low at around 1.8%, reflecting strong and stable job opportunities. In terms of safety, crime levels in Roslyn are 84% lower than the New York average, offering a rare sense of security for a small town. Crime, especially serious crime, is extremely limited, and the risk of becoming a victim is far lower than in most parts of the state. Roslyn features a highly walkable downtown with deep history, classic architecture, and year-round community events, making it not just a safe place to live, but a lively and engaging one. Northport feels like a perfect blend of a friendly small town and an elegant waterfront community. Located in Suffolk County on Long Island, the village has a high median household income of about $141,378, well above the state average, while the poverty rate remains relatively low at around 11%. Although the cost of living is higher, it comes with strong economic opportunities and financial stability that keep families rooted here. When it comes to safety, Northport truly stands out. FBI data shows just one violent crime in 2024 and around 31 property crimes, resulting in a violent crime rate of only about 13.8 per 100,000 people. In other words, the risk of serious crime is extremely low compared to many other areas. With its historic waterfront downtown, parks, and the annual Cow Harbor Day each September, featuring parades, boat races, and music, Northport is socially vibrant, exceptionally safe, and comfortably prosperous. Hyde Park is more than just a small town along the Hudson River. It carries major historical weight as the birthplace of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and that's only part of its appeal. The median household income here ranges from about $86,000 to $89,000, reflecting steady prosperity and relatively strong livelihoods compared to many other small towns in the state. Hyde Park offers a strong sense of safety. Violent crime is extremely low in absolute terms, and even the most common property crimes remain at reasonable levels per 1,000 residents, creating a secure environment for families and retirees alike. Job opportunities are also solid, with most residents employed and unemployment remaining low. Notably, Hyde Park is home to major institutions such as Vassar College and the Culinary Institute of America, giving it a social, cultural, and economic dynamism rarely found in towns of similar size. Great Neck Plaza may be small, but its reputation is anything but. Located in Nassau County and close to the Long Island Railroad, it offers easy access to Manhattan and attracts families and professionals seeking high-quality suburban living without straying too far from the city. The median household income is around $106,500, well above the state average, while the poverty rate is low at roughly 6.8%, reflecting strong economic well-being. Unemployment is also very low, at about 1.6%, indicating a highly active and stable workforce. An interesting highlight is Great Neck Plaza's vibrant multicultural community and year-round local activity. Combined with strong public services, education systems, and amenities, the village stands out as a comfortable yet dynamic suburban haven amid the broader New York metropolitan glow. Imagine a small town that feels like the set of a high-end drama series. Spotless streets, calm waterfronts, and a community so safe it almost doesn't bother locking its doors. That's Rye, NY, one of the best small towns in New York and a dream destination for families and professionals alike. Residents enjoy an exceptionally high median household income of around $237,700, more than double the state average, with a poverty rate of only about 3%, far lower than in most towns. Rye is truly unique. According to recent reports, violent crime is nearly non-existent, and property crime is extremely low, with a violent crime rate of just about 0.1 per 1,000 people and property crime around 4.5 per 1,000, making it one of the safest cities in New York. Rye also frequently appears on lists of the best places in the U.S. to raise children, thanks to top-quality public schools and easy access to beaches and a lively nature center in the summer. If there's a small town that makes you think, this could be my future home, Carmel might be the answer. Located in Putnam County, about 50 miles north of NYC, Carmel has a calm suburban character that's still full of charm, from small lakes to an active, friendly community. With a median household income of around $126,000 to $130,000, the town shows strong economic well-being compared to many other areas in the state. When it comes to safety, Carmel often earns high praise. In several national rankings, it has been listed among the safest small cities in America, with violent crime and property crime rates far below the national average and a low cost of crime per resident. Despite its small size, Carmel hosts lively community events year-round, such as the Putnam County Wine and Music Fest. If you picture a place that feels so safe you barely have to think about crime, Yorktown is a real-world example. The town has repeatedly been recognized as one of the safest small towns in America, including top placements in Money Geek's lists of the safest small towns, thanks to its extremely low per capita cost of crime, far below that of many other U.S. cities. Other data show that both violent crime and property crime rates in Yorktown are very low compared to national averages, offering extra peace of mind for families and adults alike. Beyond safety, Yorktown also boasts strong household incomes and high-quality schools, with several earning A ratings from independent reviews. The town combines a quiet suburban atmosphere with an active lifestyle, featuring riverside jogging paths, family parks, farmers markets, and a community that stays engaged throughout the year. If there is a small town that feels like a rarely talked about safe haven, it is Bedford. In the heart of the Hudson Valley, Bedford often appears on lists of the safest towns in America. Recent rankings even place it among the safest towns in New York, thanks to extremely low violent and property crime rates. Residents rarely worry about serious crime, making the area a comfortable place for families, retirees, or anyone who prioritizes peace and quiet. The local economy is also strong. The median household income is around $183,750, far above the state average. Schools here are known for their quality, and the community stays active with outdoor activities such as hiking at Westmoreland Sanctuary or visiting prestigious golf courses. Bedford includes 3 hamlets: Bedford Village, Bedford Hills, and Katona, each with its own distinct character, ranging from nature trails and art centers to local restaurants and antique shops that give off a friendly small-town vibe. One small city that truly feels upscale while still maintaining a strong sense of community is Saratoga Springs, often called Spa City because of its history of mineral baths and its year-round cultural life. Saratoga Springs regularly ranks among the best small cities in America due to its very high quality of life, including factors such as schools, amenities, and job opportunities. The city has a median household income of around $100,000, reflecting a level of prosperity higher than many other small cities in the state. The unemployment rate is low, around 2 to 3%, showing solid job opportunities across tourism, healthcare, and professional services. The city is famous for Saratoga Racecourse, a historic horse racing track that draws thousands of visitors every summer, as well as an active arts and music scene, from galleries to local theaters.